Good morning into the afternoon. Hi, everybody. Once again, this is part 3 of Beyond the Mirrors TV Reflection Talk radio show. We made it. It is Friday. We made it another day. Blessed to those who are fortunately transcended. We pay homage to those that have transcended and didn't make it through the night. Even if you went through a storm through the night, you still made it another day. And no matter what, keep pressing and keep going, because God does and will provide for you. It's a great day today. We're only going to be on here from now until 12:30. Since it's Friday, I'm not going to keep you. Yesterday we spoke upon the cause and effects, and we talked about a lot of different things. If you want to get in contact with me, you can at breakmymirrors@gmail.com, or you can contact me at Reflection Talk Radio page on Facebook, or you can contact me on the YouTube channel, however you want to do it. But I'm open, and you can contact me with any questions or anything that you want to ask me. Feel free. But I am so glad and I am so grateful for you. So wonderful for you to be here today. We will be talking about today. We ended it with yesterday. We ended it with the conversation about the negative, the reason, the judgment, and the pursuing. So we got rid of the, how we reason with things, and then we're not pursuing things in the correct way. Sometimes we use not godly self-talk, but we're using the negative self-talk to judge things or look at things in a certain way, and we pursue it in the wrong way, knowing that we should have pursued the matter in a different way. So we talked about that, and we talked about the questions that was in the cause, the effect. Do you really love yourself? Do you spend more time with yourself? And once again, if the screen seems like it's going slow, we are going to get that taken care of. But as long as you can hear me and understand me clearly, that is the most important key. So the first thing we're going to do is say our affirmation that we say every day, and I hope you say it to yourself each and every day, is that I'm worth every minute, every second, every moment of my life. I'm worth every minute, every second, every moment of my life. So every second, every minute, every moment of my life. You are worth that. Know you are valuable. Know you're worth every minute, every second, every moment of your life. No one can take that away from you. You are a divine child of God, divinity. However you want to find your spirituality, we talked about that yesterday. Spirituality is key, and faith is key to your purpose and to your mission. And it's very important. So we're going to work on, not trying, but we're going to help you and try to find ways for you to work on bringing the inner self back to the outer self. So as we talked about the Adam and Eve situation in the garden, and when I told you, when God asks, where are you? You can't hide from God. You can't hide from God when you're a child of God. You can't hide from God, because he sees all things. But it was most asking, what condition are you in, really? So the translation would have been, what condition are you in? And remember when they said, immediately we hear the word shame, based on discourse. I was afraid. I hid from you. Just like if a child gets in trouble, they hide. Do we hide from things in our life? Yes, we do. Do we hide from things within ourselves? Yes. Or do we face ourselves? Sometimes we don't, sometimes we do. A lot of women don't face themselves when it comes to really loving themselves, loving their flaws, loving everything about them. And it's a work in progress, women, because we grow, my sisters, each and every day. I don't care how old you are, we go through that cycle. We grow every day. And Even men, we grow. I don't care if you're 46, 50 years old, you grow every day. You just bloom. You learn and then you're unlearned still. It's like everything around you's changing, so you change, right? Yes. So, next thing you know, we notice that now was blaming, pointing the finger. We're so quick to blame. So Adam and Eve was, Adam was like, well, the woman you put here with me, she's the blame. So now the negative, it wasn't godly self-talk. Now it was the negative self-talk. So the enemy succeeded because now there's rivalry, there's conflict. And then the serpent, and then she comes back, the serpent deceived me. So it was a lot of different, now their self-talk had changed. It wasn't godly anymore. Now it was, his plan was to succeed. He connived, he was creative, and he connived and he deceived the whole thing. So do we do that to people? Do we do that to ourselves? Do we deceive ourselves? Do we deceive other people to get what we want in the plan? Do we do, the swift move, that, how can you have eyes like God and you're a child of God, but can you resist evil? Can you resist being negative? Can you resist it? Is that really planted in us? But as we went through that yesterday, we noticed too that Adam and Eve no longer had faith in God. Even if they wanted to, there was negative self-talk. The negativity self-talk was blocking them for having faith. It would negate from any positive decision that they made as being faultful. We find in the scripture that until the flood, the world was so full of knowledge of evil, and that God purposed in his heart to wipe humanity off the face of the earth. So we went over that. So today we're talking about out of control thoughts. So, the first things first of getting ourselves together is our mind, the subconscious. And you got the subconscious, then you have the mind, the mental, and then when it goes down, like everything's a community within you. So you have to get everything, every community, your ears, what you hear, what you think, and all those different things, because all that takes over your health, and it takes over emotional barrier. And when you're depressed and stressed and all those different things, it does bother your health. It takes a toll for your mission and your purpose. So out of control thoughts from the new king, God King. So remember when, because of our desire to be like God, and our rebellion from God, we find ourselves, whether we like it or not, as kings of our own God thrones, or queens, ladies, is not of our own God throne. So as we begin to populate the earth, we find ourselves having children that as our kings as well. Excuse me. So I'm going to break down these things, and hopefully if you want to ask a question, you can. You're welcome to. Like I said, if it seems like it's moving kind of fast, just bear with me, or moving kind of slow, as long as you can. I'm very grateful. So they came by it and naturally, and although they could not verbalize their self-talk, this is the infant, in words they learned to express it. So this is the baby we're talking about, when the baby being in his kingship. If you follow along, the moment a baby is conceived, its DNA contains the bloodline of a great king. Okay, a king who does not know he is a king is not much of a king. So knowing that you were created by the master creator of divine presence, of divine from God, you were created, you have the breath of life, you have divineness in you, and then you come into this world and you're not knowledgeable of how important you are. But we go into this world and no one shows us. We still don't know, because we're, unlearned. We're not learned yet. We don't know how great we are because we're an infant. But, okay, erect deeply into the newborn's DNA in this, you will be like God. Okay, so that we're talking a baby. So babies do this form from the very first, excuse my French, babies do this from the very first day amongst us. So if you notice, they cry because they are hungry and they are fed. It's like they're worshipped as king and little queens, and they don't realize how important they are. But we are, treating them royalty. They cry because they need change and someone immediately changes them. They cry because they need to be held quickly and they are loved and fussed over. They are in need and they are held up. You know how we used to hold the baby up in the air, showing off and naturally loved on as if they alone were the only things that mattered in the world. So when you have a newborn, it's like, remember in The Lion King how the baby lion was held up in the air, as the king. And that's what we do with our children. Like when the baby's born, we're so happy, and it's like that's the only thing that matters in the world. They don't even know you're acknowledging that the king, the God principle is in them, the goddess in them is in them, but they don't know because they're a baby. But you, not even knowingly, are treating them, are showing them royalty in that state and their godship, because God is in them. So how you hold them up and show them off to everybody naturally. Look, when the queen comes or when the king comes to the courts, and oh my, just like when you're at church or a mosque, the leader, the pastor or the bishop comes in, and everybody's like, I want to, just like as the woman went to God and she was like, only if I touch the hem of your garment I shall be healed. But because of his royalty and who he was, and he only thing that mattered in the world, we are too. We need to realize our value. We really need to realize where we've come from, who we come from. Be proud of our lineages, even in our family and our bloodline. We don't even, we have to value and respect our families, regardless of what we go through, just like this, knowing that that's too royalty. That too is very special. We're losing that culture, that cultivating feeling in family. Look at how it was in a neighborhood. When you got in trouble, your next door neighbor got you. In replace of your family was gone, but your next door neighbor got you. And then the next thing you know, you're in trouble, and then you get a double in trouble. But it's like a whole village took over, part of like and responsibility of the family. And that's like royalty. We don't look at things like that. We don't look at that. So each time the king cries out, he is obeyed. He is the center of the world, and the world exists for him. He is God. So every time the king cries out, when God cries out, what did you see? The people would answer, his children would answer, and they would bow and they would obey. Do we obey? Do we have obediency in our life? Do we really truly have order in all things, spiritually, spiritually, mentally, physically, all those things? Is there obediency? You can be obedient in one thing, but are you obedient in being either all to be nothing? I say going to be easy in every step that we do. It took your mother and your father, your whoever raised you, your grandparents or whoever, to how to. It took you discipline and being obeyed to learn how to walk, touch it. You crawled and you listen when they said chew your food. Is you obeyed. So the question is, do we obey what even the divine even tells us to do. Do we obey? Like, you know how we tell our children, don't do something, and they end up doing it. That's not obeying. And we get upset and we don't like it. So ask yourself the question, if I'm not obeying the values that I have in my life, and I'm not being respectful to myself, or even respectful to the higher creator that created me, and from God, how can I keep saying or putting on a mirror or a mask that I am doing that right thing, but deep in my heart I'm not? Well, today is the day that, every day is a day that you can change. Every day is a day that you could take a step. Okay, so as I was saying, each time the king cries out, he is obeyed. He is the center of the world. The world exists for him. He is God. Not a single demand is made upon him. People rush to his every need. He is the center of the world, a world which exists, at least for all practical purposes, to serve him. Now we're talking about when the king was a baby, okay? And you have to look at it as, okay, when you were a baby too, but you were royalty. Your family, your mother, your father, whoever raised you, treated you like a king or a queen. You were on the throne as a baby. They showed you off, and they, ooh, every time you cried, they ran, or when you cried, they run to see what's going on. They were very protective. And that's the same thing that was with, with God. So protective. So he's the king, and you cannot, or what happened, didn't want nothing to happen. Didn't want nothing to happen. As you grew up, some of us got let go to be tested. Was it the right time to let go? We would never know. Some of us was rebellion. But when our family, and I had to look at it like this, when my father and my aunts and my uncles, however, my grandparents were strict on me, I could say, oh yeah, I was I was rebellious. Indeed. I tried the waters. Yes, indeed. And what I know now, I should have really, now I understand. It wasn't that they was trying to keep me from the world or stop me from the world. They wanted to plant the seeds, which they really did, even if we were rebellious as children or teens. They really did plant the seed that they needed to plant, because, I'm so grateful. And that's what it is, planting the seed and obeying. But going back to this, the authority issue, or we might call in the God problem, is the core problem of human life. And you will be like God. Okay. What should be a temporary situation of a baby becomes in adult years a very dangerous place to be, for there is no justification for being there. Okay, our self-talk continues to become more unhealthy as the years pass by. So when we do self-talk, this is about self-talk. There's God's self-talk. There's your self-talk. There's the world self-talk. And then, the negative self-talk. So if we think that our mind is just us, I think you need to reevaluate that, because you do have the God self-talk that encourages you, that pushes you, that tells you don't give up. You have your talk, which can be very encouraging and powerful, but we have to fix it. We have to fix that. That's learning yourself to get into your higher self. And then you have the world self-talk. Okay, that's other people coming to you. You remember what they say, it goes into your subconscious, the communication download with other people. Then you have, oh yeah, you have the enemy self-talk. I forgot about that. You do have the enemy self-talk. You do have that godly self-talk. That's where, you hear that divine talk within you, and you get that word to not give up. You get that push, you get that fire, you get all those things in one. So a lot of us, do we have problems with our self-talk? Do we know our opinion, or we just now thinking it's our opinion, but yes, ye, let's make man of us, which we are little gods on this earth, but you're not the only God. You're not the creator. You're not the man, but you are a God and goddess. And you do have divinity in you, divine purpose in your life. And you know, the negative self-chatter of, I don't want, how do you say, oh, it's not going to happen for me. She's lucky. When will this end? You know, I don't think it's never going to end. You know, all that negative self-chatter. And then some days you'll be like, you know what, I can do this. I can do it. Within 2 seconds, you're like, never mind. It ain't meant for me anyway. You give so quick. You give up so quick. And those have to be, your words have to be changed, because I know sometimes, yes, you need a little bit of push. Yes, you need courage. And yes, you know, and that's what, you know, I'm blessed to share with you my experiences. I'm blessed to have the ability to show you the ins and outs, what I've been given to share, because I'm not supposed to hoard it. It's not just for me. The question would be to me, if someone asked me, how did you get out of that situation? And I always say that I died to self. What do you mean by dying to self? Dying to self is of all these things in this world. What am I going to lose, but I'm going to gain as long as I walk in God? I can always go party. I can always go out. I can always go do the old things. But where was my gain in that? What was my gain? And if I change my life, am I really worried about the friends I will lose? Maybe it's meant for you to lose those friends. Or maybe it's meant for you to change. Change is good. Change is not bad. Why are you scared to step out of the water? Some people are comfortable. And we have to get out of that comfortableness, because if it's not elevating you and it's not taking you to the next level in your next stage of your life, and you're just comfortable, then there's something that is keeping you there. Or maybe you want to keep yourself there because you're afraid. A lot of people are afraid because it's out of their comfort zone. And I'm just going to tell you that when I died to self of saying, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore, you really have to die to self in your mind too. Because if I say, all right, I'm died to self, I'm not going to smoke cigarettes anymore, but I have to make sure in my mind, in my heart, knowing for the health of my body, knowing for everything, that cigarettes is not healthy for me. Why are they not healthy for me? Why am I going to stop smoking them? What is it doing to me spiritually, mentally? What is it making me feel like? This is what could happen. Am I scaring myself straight? A little bit. But what is the benefit of me stopping smoking cigarettes? And then once I say I'm going to stop, see, you could stop smoking cigarettes, but the temptation, the mindset, the mind is not clear of it, but you might have did it physically to perfect the habit, because that's what it was, a habit that was perfected, but you didn't mentally, because when you get stressed out, you want to, oh, I wish I had a cigarette. Then you go down to a vapor, then the vapor just makes you want to not smoke another cigarette, you know, or think you still have it. It's still that, you know, putting something to your mouth, that habit of going to go get it, light it up, you know, the whole task, the direction. And my question is, if you can do that, just like, you know, we have to eat, we listen to our body, we know when we're hungry. Sometimes those use food to stop emotions, to get rid of emotions. To a lot of people use different things and say, oh, I love food. Well, food is not to love. You can like something. That can be something that you really like, but don't love it. If you love that more than you love yourself, and you're becoming overweight or unhealthy, then that's something you shouldn't love. You know, you should live to eat, not eat to live. I mean, well, no, you're supposed to eat to live, but not live to eat. Okay, you shouldn't be just like, oh, and gorging yourself and things of that nature. You know, food is a good thing, but it's balancement, action. And I think what I'm trying to get into, everything that you do has to have obediency, direction, and it has to have so much, your walk has to be so clear, your mind has to be clear of it. You know, once again, I always say this, I'm not perfect, and I just really want freedom for everyone's mind to know who they really are, that they don't have refractions, all these different refractions in their life. To see refraction, you're thinking you're seeing the right reflection, but it's only looks that way, but it's really not that way. And I think a lot of us lived our lives that way, and we really have to work on that. We try to hide behind refraction reflections instead of the true reflection that God has given you to live in your purpose in your divine life for abundance and prosperity. You know, a lot of us want to live in abundance. A lot of us want it, and you can have it whatever you want if you set your mind to it. You know, to be out of poverty, to be financially free, out of debt. But it goes first to the mind, your mindset. Everything has to be blocked. Everything has to be unblocked, unblocked, cleared out. And the way you do these things, yes, you have to go back into your data and clear it out. And there's steps. Once again, if you're interested in the steps, because I know I'm only here today till 12:30, you can email me at breakmymirrors@gmail.com. Once again, or you can get in contact with me on Reflection Talk Radio or at Emmy Woo Bryant or Emmy Woo. There's 2 Facebooks as well. So as I was speaking about the authority issue, or we might call it the God problem, like I said, is the core problem of human life. And you will be like God. That was the statement. So our self-talk continues to become more unhealthy as the years go by. As I mentioned, that the self-talk. So let's talk about how the enemy influences our thoughts. Now, is it just the enemy that can influence our thoughts? No, because we listen also to the outside as well. The outside people that we deal with. Ask yourself a question. Am I around people that's very supportive? Am I around those who really encourage me? Am I more of a giver than a receiver? Some of us have a hard time receiving, and that was me. I was more of a, I'm more of a giver than I am a receiver. I give out more, but you also want to have those people that really have your back. No matter if you fall or hit the concrete, they got your back. It's never a type of judgment of selfishness, or, you know, all the time, I told you should never went that way. And, you know, that's just like you're both in the water and someone's 20 yards, but you're 50 yards back. And the person's talking mess back to you, and they're like, oh yeah, see, you should have did how I did it. You would have been already up here, but you haven't even made it to the shore yet. You haven't even made it yet to the shore. So how can you speak about that? How can you make yourself look better than the next one, where that person that's 50 yards back and you're all the way up there talking mess all the way in the water, that person helped you get to why you're there. That person helped you and gave you a suggestion like, hey, you should try this. Let's go do this. And now the ego has set in. Now your negative thought, you could say, the enemy has influenced you to talk mess instead of encouraging the person, saying, let's go. Or you might want to go back and say, well, you know what? Even though I'm 20 yards, let me go back and help them. If your friend is falling and you're walking fast but didn't see them fall, and you're in a rush to get to somewhere, So you mean tell me you're going to leave your friend on that ground? Are you going to help your friend, or are you going to keep going? And some of us, we do have those people in our lives that where they only help when they feel it's fit or it's beneficial for them, or they help because they don't want to hear no one's mouth, or however, or they'll help to brag that they helped. So we got to find out what we're around, who we're around. Is it beneficial as far as togetherness and relationship? And once again, I say relationships are very, it's a job. I don't care. Relationships dealing with the cashier when you go out, relationships at the grocery store, relationships at the restaurants, relationship, everything in this life is a relationship. Work, everything that you do every day. You're dealing with people. I don't care if you're just friends with someone, you are dealing with relationship. Okay, so let's talk about how negativity, the enemy, influences our thoughts. So it was brought up that Satan has not lost his desire to rule. Okay, so I'm going to read you something, a quote from Martin Luther King. So as long as the mind is enslaved, the body can never be free. Psychological freedom, a firm sense of self-esteem, is the most powerful weapon against the long night of physical slavery, by Martin Luther King. Okay, so he does this by creating circumstances, either by words spoken or through situations in which we find ourselves exacting or responding to in a selfish manner. So when you're selfish, okay, when you have a selfish manner, okay, it is his way of subverting our kingship from within. So you're a child of God. You have a divine presence in you. Everyone has a divine within them, okay? That is your God and goddess throne within you, because God has a throne alone on his own within you. So you are selfish. You have this secret mission. You're being a deceiver. You have hate, enmity, however it is. You're allowing now negative influences to come into your self-talk. So when you do that, you're giving rulership over your whole temple to be negative, to be selfish, to be, now this negative talk is going to come in. Now you're enslaved by another type of mindset, and it's not a godly mindset. It's not a positive mindset. It's not the higher you. You're going to allow this to come in. Now, for instance, example, okay, you're having a conflict in a relationship, and first it was a calm conversation, and then now it's escalating because this person has to feel superior. Is that a godly conversation? Is it a godly self-talk? Is it a calm higher self being that of your throne? No, now you allowed energy or the enemy to come in, and now you're going to talk disagreeable to each other. Now you're going to say something that's not appropriate for the conversation. So now you want to escalate it. But who's winning? It's neither you or the other person. Now the enemy is winning. Now whatever entity that has put you put yourself in, that throne has been won. Some people will say, no, it's me. I have a bad temper. And well, really, you're not. I have a bad temper every day. Well, if you have a bad temper, you're taking it out on other people. What's really going on? See, we take stuff out on people because we carry all this weight of mirrors, that we carry all these barriers upon us. Okay, and we really have to find out what it is. That's why we asked about the cause and effects questions yesterday. And you can go back and watch the video if you want to know some of those questions, and you can ask yourself those questions and see where you're at with your face-to-face encounter. All right, so once again, it is his way of subverting and kingship from within. So it's stopping you from really knowing who you really are, being being negative. Being negative does not put you on a throne, unless you're going to be a throne of goddessness and of godness in a disagreeable way. That's not God's throne. Okay, God does not know of fear, worry, doubt, anything. This is of the world, and those mirrors can be broken off. We've all been trying to figure out, okay, I need this off me. How do I figure out? But sometimes we have the answers within ourselves, but we always got to go to someone else and get validation. But like I said yesterday, it was yesterday, the day before I spoke, and I said, make sure you pick the right people you're getting your advice from. Make sure you get the right advice from the right people. Meaning, when you're asking for advice from someone, you need to make sure by looking, it's not judging, but making sure, okay, is this person going to give me factual stuff? If I go get advice from Sarah, but I know Sarah will go run my business, but then Sarah will come back and smile on my face, and then next thing you know, the gossip's around town that I did this and she's going through this. Was that really a right person for me to get my advice from? But she's calling herself my friend, and she's calling herself being encouraging, but she wasn't being encouraging. She just wanted to know my business, and she wanted to know what was going on. So then she ran my information out in the streets. So now I got people looking at me. So now it's going to make me upset. Here comes the negative. It's going to make me upset. So now I'm going to argue with her. Nothing godly came out of it. You can't give someone advice that sound and tastes like good meat, and then next thing you know, the good meat that they have given you was really just being decisive or whatever, being a deceiver, so they can know your business and run around the streets and they're back in your face smiling. And then you got to put on a fake smile, either if it's you know, because you don't want to come out your godship, put a fake smile on, so that you know you don't go into negative. But then some of us have to go, we go, so per se, go off, and we're going off, and now we're not in our godship. Now we become again of the negativity. So this reaction, the negativity, this reaction is our thoughts and ideas. When we have negativity, correct, when we have, okay, this reaction response is then internalized consciously via our thoughts and ideas. So if in an event or brain opens wide and we begin to negative or positive, true or false, in our brains, where it begins to influence our daily thinking. So if we got negative thoughts and we are negative all the time because we're still thinking about what Sarah just did. There's something positive going on about the positive. You guys got a raise at the job. You ain't, oh yeah, that's good, but you're still thinking about what this person has did to you. So, and you're highly emotional. Your brain opens up wider, and you begin to store in this information, whether negative or positive, true or false, in our brains, where it begins to influence our daily thinking. That is not good. It should be, we should do our best to have positive. And we're not saying everything will be perfect, but we should do our best to be positive. So as this pattern increases, it releases damaging emotions and destructive feelings of fear and anger, resentment, jealousy, suspicion, and betrayal. So let's give an example back again with a relationship, okay? In relationships, you know, we have the failing, we have the false, we have the positive, we have the true, we have the make, everything. You know, being in a relationship is like raising a child. We're both walking together in this relationship. You know, in relationships, we all want someone. We always try to find this perfect relationship. But the thing about it is love that person for their being. Find a common ground why you was attracted, not just their outer. You know, I think we don't take the time in relationships to really get to know each other, to become friends. You know, I just really want my sisters, you know, because we as women, we love with our emotion, we love with our heart so much. And you know, men love what they see, and yes, females, we love what we see, but we also love what we hear. We just want someone to adore us and respect us, and really for one time not take what we say like it's a joke or it's childish. You know, we really want to be valued, but how can we want someone else to value us when we don't even value ourselves? You know, that's where we find the lack in our relationships, because we end up being suspicious and jealousy and envy, you know, about, oh, if he talks to, or same thing with men, they get overprotective and they don't want us to talk to anybody. That's not a relationship. You know, you should be in love, but big like the ocean. And if you look at the ocean, and God's love is so big, and there are so many different species in the ocean. Yes, they have their days. You know, sharks have their days. They want to eat someone, and you know, that's their natural way, habitat. You know, but if you look at, if you really pay attention to how animals move, if you look at all the different birds, when it gets cold, they move, they go to, and they go further, you know, they go down south, from the north to the south. And when it gets a certain way, they go somewhere else. They flock together. They move together. We really don't look at how a human can be animalistic, godly and animal, godly and animal. And we have a choice. Either you're going to be a man of God or woman of God, or you're going to be strictly animalistic. Are you going to be those wild animals, be like wolves and have no, you know, care or anything like that? Or are you going to be how, you know, you want that lion and you're the lioness and you want to, you know, be protected, and you're protecting your cubs, and there's order and there's law, and you know, all those different things. But in order to have that type of relationship and have order, you really must value yourself spiritually, you know, mentally, physically. The whole thing has to be in order with your community, your health, how you look at yourself, how you perceive yourself. Everything is not for everybody. Everyone is not for everybody. You know, we have to stop having these one-night stands. You know, oh, he's fine. Oh, she's fine. Then you don't even realize what you're doing. You're letting someone enter you because he was so fine, and you're letting the strobe lights and all the drunkenness come in. And then next to you know, you wake up in the morning and you are not yourself. Excuse me for 1 second. You are not yourself. The thing about it is women, energy. You have to be careful, because whoever, I will have a show about that. Watch, because forms even within us. We as women carry the head. We create babies in our womb. Our womb is so sacred. Our womb is so precious. And you know, teach your daughters about how precious, tampered with. Men, teach your son to value themselves. And you know, I know I'll hear a lot of the men be like, I ain't doing that. You know, he's a boy. He's a boy. But a man, a young man, a boy should have order and value, and care for himself. We are losing our children every day. Okay, we're losing our children every day because the parents or whatever, it starts at home. Their communities are messed up, and they're worrying about who's cheating on them or whose girls messing with, and they're stressed out about bills and things, and the children are watching us. So what ends up leaving, the only mentor they got is their cell phones and their friends and TV. No, we have to go back again. We have to go back to what it used to be. So back to what I was saying. So the thought of out of control thoughts, you know, it leads to a pattern. This pattern increases, it releases, it damages emotions and destructive feelings of fear, anger, and resentment, jealousy, suspicion, betrayal, etc. Now, even when we experience mild resentment towards someone, it releases damaging emotions, and we don't think emotions, we don't think emotions, we feel them. It results in our receiving mixed messages about people, situations based on things that have been happened in the past. So you might be holding something from childhood against someone, so it's bringing resentment. So it's not that you're, okay, you remember it, but you really are emanating that feeling. So you doing that is, it takes a toll on you. Not only that, sometimes certain people can feel what you're feeling. So you're sending mixed messages. You're smiling in their face, but you're like, I don't like him anyway. Yeah, back in the day, da, 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 da. You're holding a resentment, but little do you know, you're damaging yourself. And then you're sending mixed messages, and this whole time, this person thinks you're really their friend. That's not right. But then you complain about how you want somebody to be right to you, but you holding a grudge on someone else. And it's not a godly thing. If they're that's still out of control thoughts. It's out of control emotions. You're letting the enemy win over you and control your life, and you're not getting. Then you wonder why sometimes you're in that position or that rut, and you don't know what's going to, why am I still this way? Why am I this? Because you are not allowing things, letting go of things. You're not allowing peace. You're not allowing things to be like, you know what, I'm going to let it go. It's not worth it. We're older now. I am cool with this person and they didn't do anything wrong to me, so I need to let it go. So when we get older, these patterns are reinforced to such a degree by our retelling or replaying them within our mind. So when you retelling and replaying things in your mind, they become part of your permanent memory. So the more they are repeated within our minds, the more entrenched they become. It is also an atmosphere which others sense, so that if you have an expected of being rejected, you will attract people who reject you. So I am a firm believer that whatever you feel, how you're feeling, that's what type of energy you will attract. So like, say for instance, ladies, we're always like, why do I keep attracting these same men? Why do I keep attracting these same women or the same men? We keep thinking, oh man, every time I go, because it's you. You are attracting the same thing. It's because you haven't let go of everything from your past, and you're still carrying that energy of resentment, energy of rejection, from abuse. You think everyone is going to be the same, and your expectancy of it, but you're carrying weight. You're carrying mirrors of baggages that you say, oh, I let go. Have you really let go? Have you really let go of okay? When we use our plan, we are literally creating a spiritual reality. So if we're use our minds to think and plan, and then we also have hurt and pain and everything, and then we're trying to be spiritual, okay? Studies show that the unconscious mind cannot distinguish readily between what is vividly imagined and what we really experience, okay? Deep within our subconsciousness, we doubt our decisions-making abilities. And remember, I told you the subconscious mind will allow oh my goodness, the data in it will allow anything in there to make you feel like, okay, this is how I really am. So you're trying to be spiritual. You're at church, you're at a mosque, however your faith is, or even if you're at home or at a park, or your spiritualness is however you want to make, as long as you find peace and God's in it and it's divinely in your steps. I'm not here to judge. I'm only here to give what God has given me and what I'm blessed to do to help free minds. So you're at church, okay? And you're being spiritual, but yet you are still thinking in your subconscious about what your husband did, or you're at church with your husband and you're looking at him disrespectfully in God's house. So is that really you being spiritually? You're shouting hallelujah, you're shouting amen, but you're looking at your husband disrespectfully, or he's looking at you disrespectfully, or you're looking at some woman that's at church and you're looking at her like, I don't know, the whole time while the church is going on, but you being spiritually, but you saying amen and you're saying hallelujah. That is not being in a godly way. That is not being God's self-talk. You are having out of control thoughts. You're allowing the enemy, and you're allowing all your resentment, all your how can I say, all your things that are from pain and sorrow or whatever was discussed 2 days ago, and why you don't like her, and why you're not coming in to give it to God. You say you're giving something to God, that you're dying to self of it, and that you got over it, but you're not, because your subconsciousness is still holding it, not only because you chose to hold it, because you do have that choice. You do have free will, and we talked about that yesterday. You have free will, because what you did was, when you was mad, when you was hurt, what you did, you had reason with the entity of being mad, or the subject. Then you judged the subject. Then you pursued it, meaning you went on ahead with your own will and not God's will, and you said this was what it is. It's the same thing when Adam and Eve, and Adam was like, well, she did it. She's the one who persuaded, and she said, well, the serpent did. So it wasn't positive talk. It was negative. So you chose it. It was a free will. Excuse me 1 second. So, had to get some water. So, so studies show that the unconscious mind cannot distinguish readily between the vividly imagination and what we really experience. Now, from experiences, a lot of women, a lot of men have been through horrific experiences that is in the subconscious, in the data of the mind, that does take a toll, because they kept it hidden. It made them fear. It made them have barriers that, they haven't faced themselves with, and they haven't forgive. It's real easy for somebody to tell you, let go, let God, or, let go and forgive and give it to God. But when you have been raped, or when you've been molested, or when you've been in domestics, or when you've been through anything horrific, it takes some time. But when it can be cleared if you have right people, right supporters, and you are willing to fight it to get off of you. People losing children, people losing babies, things of that nature, or losing a loved one that was very dear to you. It's not an easy walk. It's not an easy walk, but it can be done. It can be cleared. You can be free. Anything in your life. Fight for your freedom of your mind and your spirituality. It can come, and it can, and it will. Deep within your subconscious, we doubt our decision-making abilities. It was good for food. Remember the thought of, lust of flesh. So it was good for flesh, the eye, lust of the eyes, desirable for gaining wisdom, pride of life. So you have lustful eyes, lustful flesh, and the pride of life. Okay? So our discernment is flawed from the beginning in these three major areas of life. Lust of flesh, lust of the eyes, pride of life. So pleasing to the eye. Once again, you go out, you're getting drunk, you're going to the club, you think he's fine, pleasing to the eyes, takes you out, he takes you out to eat. Lust of the flesh, loving it, loving the food because he gave it to you. Desirable for gaining wisdom, the pride of it. Excuse me. The pride of life, all these things. So now let's talk about the lust of the eyes. We love what we see. It looks good. It looks so wonderful. Oh yes, it's so good. So good. It's pleasing to my eyes. We do that with refraction. When someone cheats on us or when someone does us wrong at a job, we want to not believe it's true. So, oh, I'm just going to make everything pleasing to my eyes. I don't want to know the truth. I don't want my discernment to tell me the truth. I just want to make my own will. Now, matter of fact, I'm just going to allow the enemy to come in and tell me something different from what I'm really, truthfully, what God's showing me what it is and what I must do. Okay? So it was good for food. Lust of flesh. We are so overprotective about our relationships instead of letting it flow. He's mine. She's mine. He was never yours. He didn't come into this world with you by himself. She was never yours. We're not toys. We're not to be controlled. We are supposed, that's why relationships end so quickly, because it's always about what I want, and you better, instead of what do we want together? What do we want? Let's walk together and let's ask God to walk this together with. Some of the relationships that last a long time is because they have God in their home and they walk spiritually. Even if they are not Christians or, anything, but if they're spiritually walking together and they're praying together and that's bringing order. Everything is together. I didn't say it was not going to be perfect. I'm sure they have their days in them households and things are not perfect. Everything don't look good. When you're looking through a looking glass from the outside, everything is not all what it seems. When someone's competing with you or trying to make it like they're doing better than you, don't look at it like that. It's not all what it seems to be. If someone say, oh, she's doing her thing now, and it's not all, this is a work. That's why I told people yesterday, when I talked to you guys yesterday live, I told you, you want people's glory, but you don't understand their story. You don't know how they got there. You don't know how they're still walking to get there. And that's really the whole importance of knowing, just because you're around them, really, you don't really know them. Just because you was raised up by them and grew up with them through that childhood, you don't know their aches and pains. You don't go to bed with them every night. You don't know how their mind is moving a mile a minute. Especially as women and especially men, we don't know each other like that. We may know each other because we went to school together, but we don't really know. We may know our mothers and fathers, but we don't know when they lay down what they're really thinking about or what their feelings are. You don't know what barriers they have on them. You don't know what they hide inside themselves. And to say that you know somebody, you got to know thyself first. And then you got to know God in a relationship with God first. And remember your value and your worth before you try to tell somebody about them. It's easy to talk about somebody and tell them about them, but what about you? Why are you scared of your testimony? Why are you scared of your surrendering and dying to your own self to be free? And that's the question that we have to ask our own selves. Are we ready to take that step into the now? And those that have watched my videos already, the starting of the, Beyond the Mirrors TV and Reflection, talk, election shows, I just want to tell you that because see, I don't look at numbers. If I could reach someone, if I said something to you today or the other 2 days that touched you, then I did my job. If you want to know more, then, you can put your pride. Oh my goodness. I can say I have pride because I'm so used to doing everything on my own, but we have a lot of pride. We have a lot of pride and we have to everything perfect overnight. This is some work. And I don't care to the day of your walk on this earth, there's always going to be some work. We learn from each other, but the pride is in the way. My sisters, right now, I am so, even my brothers, every walk of life, I don't care what color you are, please hear me. Stop people. And I hopefully this changed, but I would love to pass people and just stand, giving that fake smiling smirk. Say hi. You don't know what nobody's going through. Just that simple hi and asking how you do. It might change somebody's day. If you see a homeless person, please don't call them, shut them down. That's a doctor or a nurse. This is away a little bit from my story, but it's a way. You don't know who's out there. Those are nurses, doctors. There's children out there that's homeless, foster children going through something. Don't shut them down like that because they're not yours or they're not your family. Believe me, we all are reflection of everyone. I don't care what you think it is. It is what it is. We are a reflection of each other. So if someone is having a problem, believe me, you got problems too. But to every problem, there is a solution. Everything can be cleaned out. Everything will be cleaned out, and mirrors will be broken. And that's how I look at it. I didn't say that I'm in my own perfect world, but if we emanate what God wants us to be, to bring heaven on earth or bring heaven to yourself, then you need to emanate it and change it. It doesn't matter what no one else thinks of you. It's about what you think of yourself. And if you believe what someone's telling you who you are, and knowing that's not on your birth certificate, and knowing that's not how you was raised, and being authentic, how to be authentic and to be bona fide and bold and be true and be real. Everyone says they're real, but also if you break down real, remember everyone ain't loyal. Just like love can be lies, overviewed emotions. There's different types, there's levels to different things, but being authentic to yourself first is getting your community within you first, with God, with you spiritually, finding a faith that you are going to stand firm about, that you really know who you are. Can no one add or take away from it, because God said that who you are. See, the thing about it is the enemy knows who you are. The enemy knows it's factual. It cannot be added or subtracted to it. He knows. That's why he does. That's why people do what they do. You have a light on you. Don't get mad if someone does not like you and you know that you didn't do anything about it. But see, that's that pride. When someone doesn't like you and you didn't really do anything to them, they're prideful because I think you have gained something that they see you're doing and they wish they really could do that. But instead of their pride saying, moving the pride out the way and saying, hey, I really like what you're doing. Could you, that's my passion, and I've been trying to do that for a long time. Is there a certain way? How can I break myself from being scared or having that lack of confidence? How can I get out of that? How can I achieve what you're doing? I'm not trying to be just like you. I just want to do what, be in that bracket. And then you should be wanting to honor that and be honored that someone came to you and asked you for help. See, that's the problem, is people like, oh, I wish I had this. I wish I had help. But your helping hands at the end of your arm, and you have a mouth that can ask. Ask and knock and you shall receive. But you have to watch who you're asking and watching what door you're knocking on. Because you keep knocking on them same doors, is because you're carrying that same energy weight of the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of the life. So doubt and mistrust becomes strong, and the voices of self-talk increases. So once again, you have your self-talk, the human self-talk of you, and then you have your higher self within you. Then you have God's self-talk, then you have the enemy, and then you have the weight of the world self-talk that you hear through your ears, and then you have that negative self-chatter that you do to your own self. These are barriers that have to be broken down so the inner you can be aligned and can come out. We judge people off the outer appearance and not by thy heart, because when a person speaks, the heart speaks abundantly. And if you really listen, there's a cry for help. And I know there's a cry for help in each and every single one of us. So I'm going to read a little bit more. It is now 12:36 p.m. Eastern time. I'm not going to keep you long. I will be back on tomorrow. I will be back on tomorrow. I'm going to do 2 shows tomorrow, one in the morning and then one in the evening. So if you want to join me, once again, those that are watching, I really do appreciate it. Please share. Not selling the show. This month I will be giving implement to the value of it. It is to a group conference. So please let me know. You can email me or Facebook me, however. On this, so Satan's game, okay, the enemy's game plan, that you willfully give ship to him. So when you are in a bad mood, you're arguing, you're holding resentment, jealousy, envy, you know, being, I say, catty, or being a deceiver, or however you want to call it. Okay, you are giving your lordship, your throne, to negativity. So the enemy succeeds. So guess what? You're not thinking about your schoolwork. You're not thinking about your goals that you made for the new year. You're not thinking about anything. Now you're on depression, anger, resentment, I don't care, just being hateful of the past. So you rather, let me ask all of you, you rather give up your lordship to the enemy or to those who want to stop you? Do you know that is stopping you from your mission and your whole purpose of who you are? Do you know that stops you every time you get upset? Do you know this stops you from feeling free? Because you chose to give up your throne. Every time you give your throne up to someone or something, that is the enemy coming in, you're being used, and you're giving this power up to an entity, or you're giving your power up to another person. And guess what? They feel they've gained. They feel that they have gained so much that now you're sitting there, the others want to say the fool, but you're sitting there in lack. That didn't bring you no money. That didn't bring you happiness. You are sitting in a pool of pain, of hurt, of blockage. Now you put another block, another barrier on you. And we've all been through this. It makes us want to go gorge on food. It makes us want to go, some people do drugs. Some people go drink. Some people go do awful things, or it causes you to go fight. You end up in jail. All these different things. All because your mindset. And this is all part of the inner you. This is the inner mirror. So first we're talking about the thoughts. Because if you don't have your thoughts right, nothing else. We're going to break down from the thought mind, the self-thought mind, all the way down. We're breaking down your community. Okay? We're not at the hearing, but hearing does play a part, because your ears hear everything. Your eyes hear everything. What you're sensing and what you're tasting. When you have that lust, you be tasting lust. It's like craving, like you become animalistic. You're not in your Godship. Now you're animal. Now you're in heat as dogs and cats. And now you're in heat. Now, you're at this point like, you're not in God. You're not in Godship now. You're animalistic, and that's can be off balance. And I'm not saying, once again, I'm not perfect. This is a working progress every day for all of us. And I know I'm going to go over, but that's okay. But let me read this. Men are not prisoners of fate, but prisoners of their own minds. Franklin D. Roosevelt. Men are not prisoners of fate, but prisoners of their own minds. We are becoming prisoners of our minds from past things, from past relationships. We allow these things to happen. Once again, you are the gatekeeper to your mind. You hold the key to your gate. Why are you letting other people have the key to your mind? That's the question I'm going to ask everybody today. Why are you letting people hold the key to your mind? I used to say, you know what? I used to trust people with my life. I used to let everyone, those just pray on me because I just need a prayer. And do you know, like, a lot of people, not everybody, when they pray for you, is really for you. Or people that you put your life into their hands are really not for you. And then we don't look at it in a spiritual way. We look at it as, oh, that person, that human being, but they were. And I always say this, people are in your life for a reason, a season, or for a lifetime. Protect you, help you along the way, make sure you're there, encourage you. You gotta clean house. If you're talking about you're changing, you know, listen, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this, and this is what's gonna happen. No more of this. But what happens is, do we give up our keys, or do we allow past things? You know, we're just trying to be like everybody else. We're just following. You are a leader, a natural leader. Everyone is a leader. Not everybody is your, and you have to take a stance on your. This is now, not later, not next year, not when New Year's comes again for the celebration of New Year. Your New Year is now. Every month is a new year. Every day you wake up is something new. Every day. Don't pay attention to what the next person's doing. If they feel they're doing good and they feel they're doing better than you, let them have it. It's a distraction. Keep your mind focused. Don't go left. Don't go right. Don't allow anyone to have keys to your mind. Don't allow no one to take your gate. Don't allow that. Don't allow the pressure. It's pressure, but you can win that pressure. You're a fighter. Think about it. Look at what you come through from last year or years from long ago. Look at that. And once you look at that, okay, look where you've made it now. Has it changed? Have you ever paid attention to see, you know, I've changed, I've come a long way? But you don't got to tell nobody that. You don't got to tell everything that you're doing. Everything is not for everybody. You can't tell everything that you're doing. You got to move quietly, because, you know, when you move quietly and you move in obedience, and you know you're changing for yourself, it's not that you're being stuck up or anything. If I chose to move quietly, I don't tell everybody, because everybody's not going to validate what you're doing. Everyone is not going to taste the same air that you're tasting. Your air, you're breathing the same, but your air is different. That means your walk is different. Your purpose is different. Your mission is different. But little do they know, it's all in the same way. Everybody's trying to race to something to try to make like they're bigger than anybody else. But guess what? You're still all in the same bracket. It's just you've elevated. It's some things that you have outgrown, and some of the things that you have experienced, but they haven't experienced it yet. And instead of our pride getting in the way, the pride of life getting in the way, we need to ask for help. And we need to have those people in your life. Do you have those people? And that's the question is we need to ask ourselves today, including me. I have to ask myself all the time, do I really have that backing? You know, and I told a friend on the phone, you know what, I'm my own encourager. I'm my own pusher. I'm my own, you know, I got the little push here, but not all the way that I would like it, but I got to do it myself. You know, you would like to have that type of relationships with people where everybody like, yeah, what's your thing today? Okay, boom. And you might call back later, how was your day? And you know, you want that, but it's not, it don't be like that sometimes. And we can't have a fairy tale lifestyle, period. We have to learn to bring attraction differently to ourselves. And that's through a lot of different things that, you know, once again, I have an implement tool that will help, you know, that I do use on my own self, and it has helped. I will give an implement tool after I get done with this. So the enemy's game plan, that you are willfully to give over your lordship to him, that you will self-destruct under pressure of being king, and then to do everything he can to keep you from making Jesus Lord and King over your life. Okay, and even if some of you that's on here, you know, some of you might pray to Allah or Yeshua or however, God is called by many names. So, you know, that still applies, you know, to do everything he can to keep you from making Jesus Lord or King over your life, Allah King over your life, Yeshua, however you want to say it. Okay, because I'm not nobody to sit here and blaspheme and all that. I'm here to aid and help and serve and to help free minds. Okay, even if you do have a faith that will result in eternal life, okay, you will live a miserable life while you are here. So that's his whole game plan. The enemy's whole game plan, once again, is that you will willfully give up your lordship to him, that you will self-destruct under pressure of being king, that you do everything he can so that you will make from making Jesus Lord and King over your life, even if you do have a faith that will result into eternal life, you will live miserable life here. So his whole game plan is to make you feel like this is what it is. This is how my life is supposed to be. Oh, I can't live without him. I can't live without her. The groping and moaning, playing victim. Okay, playing the victim role. Yes, this happens. Okay, so that is the game. That is the game plan that is at hand. So how do we achieve that? How do we get over that about the game plan? You know, you have people in your life that you'll go ask from, and they give you advice that don't even have anything to do with what your game plan is, but they're trying to veer you off your plan, off your road, so that you cannot see that you're on assignment. So I had learned that when someone's mad at you, when somebody don't like what you, don't get mad at them, because guess what? You're on your assignment. I said to myself, you know what? If no one didn't watch my videos, no one didn't watch my this TV series show live, it doesn't matter, because if those who do know me, they don't want to watch it, they don't want to like it, they don't want to praise, they don't want to support, that's fine, because I'm not mad at them. Everything is not for everybody, but I hope if they do click it and they do watch it, they know that there's something that I pray and I hope that the utterance of my voice from the divine source comes from God through my mouth, and something I'm saying hits home with you to realize that, hey, I need to change. You know what? At least I know someone out there understands what I'm going through. And that's the whole key. It's not about, oh, she's on, oh, what she thinks she's doing and this and that. It's not about me. I'm not doing this for fame. I'm not doing this for no award. I'm not doing this. This is my purpose and this is my mission. You know, I've been given a gift. I've been blessed to have spiritual downloads, encounters, and things of that nature. We all been given a gift. We have a gift that's already been inside us. My gift is through my testimony of my life and the things that I have been through, that every mirror that I have broken have been changed, and I have tools of how I did it and what it was that showed me, God showed me that I need to use it and I need to share it so I can help others be free. So if that's something that I'm going to be hated on because I want to help others, and that and it's not no personal gain, and I want to help those and to be free, to feel themselves and to feel the love of themselves within them, then by all means, then I guess you could be mad, because this world is very big and I'm not here for that. I am here to do my job. I am here to share. I am here to help. And that's all I want to do. I want to see my brothers, my sisters, the world be free from lack and from pain and hurt. We are not perfect in this world. There are so much things going on in this world, and we need to wake up from the sleep that we're in. We are in a sleep state from our own barriers. We are in a sleep state from mirrors that we put on our life, from the world, from relationships, from everything. And the enemy is the spirit. In the spiritual sense, the enemy is swifting and sweeping. You can believe it however you have faith. However you want to interpret it, that is going on. You're allowing your throne that you sit on, that was given to you at your birthright, to be weakened, to be taken. You're allowing it and giving it to someone because you don't feel complete. Yes, everyone wants someone. Everyone needs someone in their life. and it's nothing wrong with having a significant other. But if you don't get yourself right first and get the stuff off of your back and your weight, you will continuously keep falling, keep attracting the same type of men or same type of woman. It has to stop somewhere in your life. You have to say, that's it. You have to ask the divine, and however, if you pray up to your ancestors, to order your steps in a correct way. However you want to do this, it has to break now, not tomorrow, now. So if you want it today, you need to say, I want it now. It's happening now. It's going to happen today. I'm dying to self. There's no more this, no more that. And who cares if anybody says, oh, you think you're better than someone else? Or you think, what? It's not that they're saying that to you. You're doing something that they want to do, but they're scared. So instead of arguing with them or debating with them, you tell them, whenever you're ready, when you're tired of being tired, you can do this too. And that's what I tell people. Whenever you're ready and you're really tired, you can break the mirrors off. And if you want help, I'm not saying, oh, help because you're a baby. No, everyone needs help. Your mother and father, your grandparents, whoever raised you, helped you learn how to walk. Some babies went fast, walked. Your parents help their children with their homework. It's the same way. Because you're grown and you're a certain age don't mean that you don't need no help. When you're a certain age don't mean that you still don't lack in things. We all lack in little baby insecurities. We just got to learn not to let that insecurity take over our whole life. Insecurities and get them out because they're not meant to be there. So that's why I do what I do. That's why my walk is what my walk is. Okay. So when, after that, the enemy or the plan, we could sabotage ourselves as well. It's very much so. We do sabotage ourselves through resentment, through jealousy, through envy. We do really sabotage ourselves. We're always quick to point the blame at we have to start taking accountability of ourselves. Okay, so taking our thoughts captive. Why are we given as a self in the first place? So why are we given a self in the first place? A, it is so that we might bring it as an empty vessel before God. B, God gave us the power of self-determination that we might bring this self every day and say, God's work in it, I offer it to you. C, God wants a vessel into which he might pour out his divine fullness and beauty, wisdom, and power. So why are we given self in the first place? It is so that we may bring, once again, it as an empty vessel before God. Gave us the power of self-determination. So we have determination. Are you determined? Do you use your determination? If you're determined to go fight, or you're determined to yell and fight, or determined, is that your self-determination? That's who you really are? Are you using your self-determination to do right? Are you determined? You're determined. I am determined. If you say, I am determined to not do negative things anymore, what is the first step? You got to write stuff out. And that's one of the implement tools that I do share with people. Write all the negative things that you feel that's in your life. Write all the negative things you may not like about yourself. Write all the negative things you feel that's going on. Write all the positive things you love about yourself. Write all the, all the positive things that's going on in your life. If your negative weighs out your good, positive, there's work needs to be done. If there's positive, but still there's a little bit of negative in there, then the little negative needs to be wiped clean. It's a face-to-face encounter, however you want to do it. Instead of being mad all day, ladies, we do hold grudges. Men, we do hold grudges, even teenagers, all that. We need to write it out. Get a journal. That releases. You want to write it out and go burn it? Go write it out, read it out loud, and say it is done, it's over, it's off of me, the weight is gone. Burn it and let it go. I'm not telling kids to do this or anything, but we are losing our children. And and if any of the like teens are, you know, I know they're at school right now, but when they go back later on and they see this, please, you know, being authentic is being who you really are, being your birthright. Being authentic is a responsibility. You know, we all say we want prosperity and we want abundance. We want so much. And it's a responsibility, because how you think in your mind, whether you're carrying in your mind, first your faith and your relationship with your spiritualness, and that's, oh man, that keeps you so lined and so in order. That keeps you there. So that helps the mind be cleared and unblocked. I didn't say you was never going to be tested neither. You know, if we believe in the enemy and we believe in heaven, and some of us or some people may watch this and they don't believe. They believe that, you know, heaven's differently. And I'm not going to judge them. You know, that's not me to do that, you know. And that's the thing that we also have to get out of the debate. You know, the debate, we want all this peace. We talk about peace. We talk about God's way. We talk about all these different things. But God is not, he's not going to keep debating. We fall so much. We fall so short. Or we ask for things that may not be on our time. But infinite, the universe, in God's sight, and God's, he doesn't even have time. And in that realm, in the spirit supernatural realm, it ends up being there. It's not on your time, but when you emanate it out and you visualize it happening for, it ends up being there for you on the right time, at the right place, at the right time, at the right place, at the right time. You know, I may say things in different structure, but you get it. So, you know, that is something that we have to really, and we really need to analyze ourselves. Really, we really do. So self-determination is part of, you know, every day, your self-determination to be better, your self-determination just to be really at your right place, not to look, to keep going. Even if you're in a storm, and I mean, right, if you're in a storm and, oh, I'm about to lose my house, my car, I'm about to get divorced, even in the midst of that storm, you need to be grateful, because there could be things being moved for a reason. There could be things being moved for a reason. Because if you're in that midst of that storm and you still planning, you're just so comfortable, you'll never know. I'm not telling anybody to get a divorce. I'm not telling anybody to, you know, give up your relationship. But, you know, in relationships, you know, the but is, oh, the secondary in between thing. But I'm not telling you no secondary, okay? I'm not going to tell anybody to get a divorce. I'm not going to tell you to leave them, because it's your choice. It's your free will. And we have to start reasoning, looking at things in a reasoning God way. We have to judge in a God way, and we have to pursue it in a God way. And that's the whole key as well. So God wants a vessel in which he can pour out divine fullness of beauty, wisdom, and power within us. We already have the divineness, but he wants to open up the gates more upon us. And we can't open up the gates for our prosperity and our abundance when we have all this extraness. We're allowing all this extra weight on us, and we're allowing the enemy to put more weight on us, because we're thinking, that's not really who you are. You know, someone says, man, she's mean. She always mean. See, they're judging you because you're letting your heart of anger, which is not in the heart of stone, control your life. It's blocking everything. You may, you know, you're still getting blessings, but it's not what you fully wanted, because you can be rich, okay, multi-millionaire rich, okay, and really be miserable and hurtful, because, you know, oh, my husband's multi-millionaire, but he's cheating on me. But you're only staying there because of the money, because you're being, you know, a dependent. You know, you're being codependent, however you want. You're not being independent. You're not being in your throne. You know, you're not doing what you know you were meant to do. And you know, and I tell people, If you choose to be a housewife and you choose to be this wife, make sure that that's what you want, because don't run around and telling people, oh, he only thing he wants me to do is have babies, or all he wants me to do is do this, or all he wants me to do is do. No, you know, if that's your job, and I don't knock housewives. I don't knock them at all, because they're doing a good job. That's why I tell people all the time, if it's only meant for you to be a good mom or a good nurse, and that's where your place is, and you got to love what you do. Stop getting jobs because you know, oh, I need a job because I need bills paid. Okay, you got to, but are you going to get a job that you're going to have passion to do it? Where is your passion? What are your whys? If you don't have a passion in flipping pizzas all day and it's really not your job, then why are you doing? You're really there. You're making yourself more miserable. That's not using the God mind. That's not using your higher self thought. You're letting other things run you. Okay, so why is it that we have such a hard time relinquishing the throne now that we are, this is what we say, now that we are who we are spiritually? And this goes for anyone in their spiritual walk, Christians, however. So why is it we have such a hard time relinquishing the throne now that we are, you know, if we're Christian, Jehovah's Witness, Muslim, things of that nature. King self is full of himself. B, this is all part of self-talk that takes place inside of our thoughts process every day at the rate of 700 to 1,500 words per minute. So we self-talk that much, 700 to 1,500 words per minute. It is interesting to note that we lose our fellowship with God because we do not believe what he has told us. So let's go back. So remember when he told Adam and Eve, you must not eat from that tree scenario. We didn't trust him. Because of that, we sinned and lost our fellowship with him. So fellowship came from our not believing. Then could it be that the way would be to tell him once again that we do believe in him? Okay, the foreign restoration of a healthy mind is, for God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. Okay, now that we have made him our savior, or this is to me, this is for however you want to take it for your belief, because I know I have viewers that are Muslim, Jehovah's Witness, and so forth. This listen to the keys, please. Now that we have made him our savior and have assured of eternal life, how about making him Lord over your present life as well? So we're going to talk about that real quick before I go, and I will continue tomorrow. Your faith. When I said your faith, okay, is very important. Your belief system is so important, because once you build that foundation that is pure, that is of God, that is of the higher source, it is the most clearing and most breakthrough of your life. You know, I know a lot of us have lost faith, and faith is a reflection of God, and it's a reflection of you because you are God's child. Okay, we lose faith. We lose faith in ourselves because we don't believe, and we don't know, we don't feel we know in ourselves of what was told on our lives, that we have a purpose, we have a mission. We just think we're just here. And if you feel that you are just a useless eater, a nothingless person, you are so wrong. So wrong. I am just so, really strong about that. I believed, here was my way before 2014, okay? I knew God exists. I knew I prayed. I knew I praised up. I didn't worship the devil. I didn't do anything. I did walk in dark places. Yes, I did dark things. There was a time in my life where I went that way, okay? And I can tell you both sides are real. And it is something that I wouldn't wish upon anybody in their life. If you choose to go dark, believe me, you don't want to go there. It's not all that pleasurable, okay? It's not. And I can say that from my experience. I realized me being in that stage in my life, you know, the partying and all the things that I was doing, I was devaluing myself. I was not respecting myself. I was not loving myself. I was putting my life in other people's hands, trying to see if they would love me more, so then I feel better about myself, you know. And when people say to me, oh, you're pretty and you're this and that, I don't look at it like that. I'm a reflection. I'm just like you. This is a shell. This is just a house. This is just a body. And this body's going to change, you know. This body changes each and every day. And my goal is to, you know, I eat raw, totally raw foods now. Because it's spiritually, it's something I wanted to do. Mentally, I'm happy. I feel great. You know, at first I was like, oh man, I'm going to lose all this weight. And, oh, you know, that's that worldly thought. That's not my talk. That's not my godly talk, because God has made me perfectly. Now, if I want to enhance my own self, you know, and, you know, I have my lack days now. I be forgetting to go to the gym. I haven't been to the gym in a minute, you guys, but, you know, there's a time and a season for things. And I was going to the gym. And I think I was going to the gym, you know, I was going to the gym a lot, but see, I wasn't balancing it out. You know, I rushed into it and was going every day, twice a day or whatever. And, you know, and I was doing it. But when you're doing it by yourself and you're running and there's no encouragement, you know, and it's only but little, but you get a little encouragement, but you keep going. And, you know, I'm a type of person, like, if I'm going to do this workout, I would love to have someone work out with me. But as I'm learning, you guys, my walk, my journey, you know, there's someone else going through the journey just like I am. I just don't know them. But my walk and my journey is something for me to learn and perfect each and every day. But when I'm learning is that I'm not alone. I'm so grateful that I have broken barriers that was taken away on me. And it's about what I think of myself. And not only that, you know, to be in a dark place, you know, I know a lot of people are, you know, the people that I do know, and it from homelessness, foster care, and being in homeless shelters, women and children. You know, I've been there, you know, been in shelters. See, that's the thing, you know, people like, oh, you know, talk about me. I think one thing about me, and I'm glad that God gave me this, I'm grateful for the position in my life. I'm grateful for where I'm at. I'm grateful for my mindset, you know, and I think that's what my whole mission is for each and every single one of you, to be grateful, to be thankful for the things you do have. And, you know, and I don't care when you go into someone's house, if you say, oh, she ain't got no bed, and, you know, her, and da 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 da. Ask yourself a question. You steadily talking about that person, but where are you at? Did it make you money? Did it gain you power? Why are you giving the enemy the throne to even use you, to even speak upon someone like that? You know, we all need to reevaluate ourselves and be accountable. And, you know, this is the first things first of the inner self, is having real talk conversation, and really getting to the point. You know, I will get negative comments. I will get, hey, she don't know what she's talking about, this and that. And then I'll get some that are positive and that are receptive, and that will, I hope I bring clarity. And, you know, I'll get that somebody that's negative, and that will say, oh, Shiana, but there's something I said that might have irritated them that they just faced with. So even if I faced you, or even if I was used, and your reflection visited me today, that's how I look at it, and your reflection came and visited me in the spirit, and I'm speaking out something that you needed to hear, that yourself was trying to tell you, but you've been hiding from it. I'm glad you got told again, because now it's your time to wake up and realize that God has something for you, each and every single one of you. God has something for each and every single one of us. I don't care if it's to be a better mother, to be a better father, to be a better person, to live financially free, out of debt, just to be free, period. To break every mirror, and every mirror will be broken, and to not live in the refraction of a reflection, but pure reflection of how God has made you. And I really do hope that you got clarity today, and that, the presence of God was around you. There's the thing is that, I've done 30-day challenges where I've had people do my 30-day question challenges, and they have broken down, cried, or said they can't do the second challenge because this really took a toll. They need a break, or they have, really faced themselves and they don't know how to deal with it. But with me, I'm a friend. More than anything. Even if I don't know you and you contact me, I will walk this with you the whole way. We're going to break barriers. We're going to save lives. You're going to save your life. You're going to put God back in your life. Even if you call him Allah, Yeshua, Jehovah, however, God is God. Quit putting him in the box. Quit putting God in the box. He's not a system operation. He is truly God. He has master crafted you. He's made you wonderfully, beautifully made. Please, he has something for each and every one of you. And if you surrender yourself, when I say die to self, I don't mean kill yourself. I mean it, dying to self, meaning dying of the things, shed the old things of you. Let it go. You can't change the past. The past is already done, but the past has made you who you are today. And if you carry that weight, don't carry it. You can't do it by yourself. When you want to change, look back at all the things that you have came from. Be proud of yourself, because you are a conqueror. You are a victor. You're not a victim, and you will conquer everything. It will be done. So if you watch this show today, and if you go back, share it, however you want to do it. If you watched it, if you know someone that needs to hear it, if I confuse you at all, email me and verify it with you. I will come back on tonight. That might, but it will probably be late if I come back on tonight. But if not, definitely tomorrow morning, same time, 11:30. I'll be on at tomorrow. And tomorrow we will talk about the insights into how thoughts affect our health. But there is something that there was a question that, now that we have made him our Lord, our Savior, and have the assurance of eternal life, how about making him Lord over as well? So finding your life. If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for me will find it. And that was in Matthew's 16:24-25. So if you shed yourself of old things and take it to God, even if you want to say your ancestors, if you want to take it to God, to your higher source, and ask him to take the weight off, believe me, your yoke will be easy. And believe me, even if I feel like I'm alone on this walk, there's nobody there, you are really not alone. You're really not alone. God is with you. You are protected. You wake up every day. So every day you wake up, you still have hope. You still have change. You can change it, and you will change it. And I said I was going to talk about the have. I have, and I don't have, and I am, and I don't I am not. We have to change that. So even if you don't see it and you go, you know what, I have such and such. That's the, the law of attraction, visualizing, seeing it, knowing it, walking it, seeing it. Like if you want a business and this is your passion, but you don't have, you're saying, oh, but I don't have the money for it and I don't have it. But there are so many successful people out here, and find them, research them, that have businesses that didn't have money, but from doing videos or from a blog or from it grew. It grew and God blessed it. But if you don't allow God to help you and take your feet and put your faith shoes on and get your feet and ask God for his fire to your feet, then it's not going to move but where it's at right now. So I ask for you, please, know that you're worth every minute, every second day of your life. Happy Friday to every single one of you. I hope you enjoy your weekend. Please join me tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Same place, same time. We will talk about babbling within ourselves. We need to give it back to God, our desires to rule and reign over our lives. We can do it. You're not alone. And I know a lot of us need to feel that a physical body can help us. And I believe that God has been talking to a lot of you out there. And I believe that there's a purpose. There's a purpose on each and every one of you guys' life. And when you say, you know what, I can't do this by myself. And when you honestly ask for, and truly don't emanate it up, because you got to understand, God says yes. Yes, that's what he knows. His vocabulary is yes. So if you say, God, I need, he'll like, yeah, you do need. God, I want. Yeah, I know you want. Just like a father to a child, a mother to a child. Yeah, I know you do want. But when you ask and you knock on the door, you shall receive. And when you go abundantly with pure heart and love and sincerity and not with pride, God will answer the door for you. Your blessings are coming. You have a home. You ate yesterday. It may seem like you don't have much. You feel alone. No one doesn't understand you. Give it unto him. Give it unto God. Give it to the divine. Give it to the higher power, and you will see breakthrough. Let go of all your barriers. Let go of the pain. You can't change the past. You can't go back in time. It's about now. It's about bettering yourself now. And you can do it. I believe in you. I know it's in you. I believe God is speaking to so many of you. And those of you who have closed ears and closed eyes, you may be walking blind into something, but it's a go. When you walk into your mission and your purpose, and it feels like, okay, I'm going and walking blindly into this purpose, it's okay, because you're not really blind. The steps are ordered. Everything is ordered. If there's a lot of you that are looking for jobs and wanting jobs right now and don't know, I keep applying, I don't apply. What is it? I want to ask you, what is your passion? What do you love to do? Maybe God's telling you that's what you need to do. Instead of, everybody always says, oh, I'm too old. I'm older now. People always telling somebody, give it up, not young anymore. You know what? No, you're not. You can still do it. There's people that's 60 years of age that went after their dream after all these years, and they became rich. If you have children, hug their children today, tell them you love them. I don't care how old they are. If they're not talking to you, please just send a love you, pray for them. I will continue to pray for everyone out there in the world today. Let's build a nation. Let's build a nation within you. Let's help you be authentic, be the unique you. Because if we were all the same, how could we tell each other apart? But we are the same, because each and every one of us do have something in common through our testimonies, through our pain, through our hurt. But give it unto the Most High God, and he will prevail. You're never alone. You are a fighter. You are a warrior. You got the victory. You are a conqueror. And you're worth every second, every moment, every minute of your life. I love you. remember, value yourself first. Blessings. Have a wonderful weekend. Peace.